Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Derek Ledwish from Strive Fitness and Performance. Today, we're going to go over how to use MyFitnessPal. Um, there are other apps out there for logging purposes that you can use. We use MyFitnessPal just because that's my preference. That's what I've always used for all my clients. And it's super easy for me to see your guys' food logs just on my phone. If you don't like to use MyFitnessPal, then there's always the regular logs that you can easily use, and then just take a picture of it and send it to your coaches. But this is a good way to see, what each food equals out and things like that. So you do have to learn a little bit about it. At first, it might be a little bit tedious, but again, if we're really wanting to get down to our goals, we have to do a little bit more work. Um, for today, as I go through this, it is specifically for our challenge, so the numbers will be a little bit more specific to what we want to do at a specific challenge, but you'll also be able to adapt it to the individual numbers as your coaches give them out to you. Um, First thing, as I'm going to do this, I'm going to go to food. Okay, so as I go through this, there is another video about macros. Um, and tell you about adapting and macro planning and things like that. For our purposes, I'm just going to go through what MyFitnessPal actually looks like. So this is my day for today, April 24th. I eat basically the same amount of stuff. So we got breakfast, lunch, and then here's my dinner and snacks. So I haven't eaten these yet, but I already put them in because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to get close enough to my goals, and I pretty much am. My goal is to be around 2,000, not 2,100, but I wasn't able to put that in there or anything like that, or I want to be 2,020 actually. So this is pretty much good enough. I want to have high protein. For my purposes, I'm going to be a little bit on the higher carb side because that is for my goals, and then moderate fat. All right, so I'm pretty close to there. Uh, the sodium is a little bit higher than normal, but that's also because of like some of the cod and the chicken fried rice that I had for lunch was the big one. All right, so my sodium's there, but I needed to get that because I was absolutely starving today at lunch, and that way I was able to hit up my carbs a little bit more as well. Um, so what I really want to show you before we get into the actual specific numbers, if I want to do anything, so say I had breakfast, I would just click here. It looks a little bit different than regular phone, but click there, and I would search, or you can go through all the stuff that you already do. Strawberries, anything like that are usual. Okay, so say I had another cup of coffee, I would click on that. Say I had just one, or the portion size a little bit changes, anything like that. Let's say I had that with protein powder, but instead I had two. All right, so I would go add checked, and boom, there it is again right down here. All right, and you see that obviously that put me up quite a bit for the protein. That's how the numbers changed, just because of all the two scoops of the protein powder. The next thing I want to show you, okay, really good thing about MyFitnessPal is that, again, we are creatures of habit. Okay, I don't really make recipes. Now, again, it is tedious at first. So say you make this elaborate recipe or like that, has all these different ingredients and things like that. You will have to put it into the recipes and put in every little bit. Okay, assuming you make it the same way each time. If not, you can just adjust. But now you have that recipe every single time. All right, and that is going to be the biggest stuff for you, just because that way you don't have to do it over and over and over again. Myself, I just have meals, so I have basically the same stuff over and over again. Okay, for instance, my super shake. I have this pretty much every single day. Okay, and it's right here. All right, so this is why I just keep on clicking on this because I know exactly what I'm going to put in there, and I make that. Okay, if you need to adjust or anything like that, or you make your own meals, you just keep on adding different meals. All right, and that way it's super easy to plan because say you have cod, broccoli, and a little bit of butter or and rice or anything like that. You click on that meal, you make that meal, and then you just keep on clicking on that for each and every single day. And now all of a sudden it's super, super easy. You don't have to search for anything or anything like that. Okay. Main reason that it finds it hard that you want to do it exactly is if I go to, actually, let me make this. Say I go to add food. Okay. And I go to, say, rice. All right. So as you see, there are a ton of different rices. Some of these are actually going to be actual recipes or anything like that. Okay, wild rice, jasmine rice, instant rice. Okay, all these are around the same, but as you see here, we got quinoa rice, 240. Okay, we have rice bowl, we have Moe's rice, dirty rice, all this other stuff. Okay, we need to make sure that it's exactly what we're having. Okay, one of the good things about MyFitnessPal as well is you can look up some of the recipes or the food content at some of the, like a Jimmy John's sandwich or anything like that, so that you're not guessing. Some of the stuff's not on there, but again, overall, it can be good. All right. So those are some helpful little tidbits. What we don't want to do is put in our exercise. All right. The stuff that we give you is going to be adjusted accordingly with the amount of exercise that we're getting. You do not want to use this because it's going to end up taking away from the calories, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well now I can eat more. Okay, and we do not want to do that. Let's go to home. And we're going to go to goals. Okay, I am going to adjust this right when you started that because it's not going to be 100% correct. Okay, I'm going to go to daily nutritional goals. All right, so here is where I set that up. Okay, so for our purposes, for women, for our challenge, we're going to be around 1400. And again, some people are going to be a little bit different. We're going to be at 30% for carbs, 35% for fats, and 35% for protein. Okay, so this is how it end up happening that. Okay, we want, again, lower end of the carbs, moderate for the fat. I don't want to go really higher than 40% unless you're doing like a lot of keto or anything like that. And then higher end for protein. Okay, I can also adjust this a little bit. So say I like my protein. These two are going to adjust 40 and 30. Okay, or if again, I can easily go like around that. So I have balance right here, and this is on the higher end. Okay, a lot of times this is really good to go with. And then if I like one a little bit lower than the other, we're golden right here. Okay, so that is women. Then I would just click save. For guys, we're right here. We're going to be at 1800. We're going to be at 35% carbs. Sorry, 25% fats because we don't really need that much fat for guys. And then we're staying at protein for there. All right. So here's where we want a little bit more protein and carbs for the guys just because we can handle a little bit more. And then we don't need that much dietary fat. Women genetically need a little bit more fat. So we don't really need that as well. Okay, and this is how we adjust it. All right, and again, these are just general for the challenges. If we find that we need to be somewhere else, this is how we would adjust. Okay, so that is MyFitnessPal. Again, it may seem tedious. Biggest thing is to honestly use the meals tab, the recipes tab a lot because if you have the same thing over and over again, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing because it does not take that long to put all this stuff in. And honestly, I macro plan the night before in my bed when I'm on my phone. It takes me like about 5 minutes, and I can adjust pretty much how my day is. And then I just adjust accordingly as we go on. And again, that way I already have everything logged in for the entire day, and I see where my numbers are at. Okay, so same thing. If I go in here, okay, so say my breakfast, I know 100% is going to be one of my main meals because I have it every single day. We're going to go super safe. And boom, there's my breakfast. Okay, now if I adjust this, so say right here we are at quarter of a cup. Okay, say I want a little bit more carbs. Actually, I'm going to have that because tomorrow is my high carb day, which I'm going to be insanely happy for. I'm going to have 1 cup of oatmeal in mine. And there you go. I just adjusted that, just put everything in there, and now I'm good to go. All right. That is some helpful tips from MyFitnessPal. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is a really, really good way to keep us on point.